Hello my friends, I'm Chris Chen. I'm a video producer and photographer based in Hong Kong. So in this video, I have a very small and compact lens to introduce to you guys. This is the TTArtisan 27mm F2.8 pancake lens for Fujifilm X-Mount. This lens looks very similar to the Fuji 27mm F2.8, but this one sells for half the price of the Fuji. So TTArtisan sent me this lens to let me try it. This lens is a great match with Fuji cameras, and I think it's best used for minimal street shooting. So before I go deeper to talk about this lens, TTArtisan provided this lens for my review, but has not suggested any points I will need to mention. So this video is 100% of my honest opinion on how this lens performs in my everyday shooting. When I first received this lens, I'm surprised it looks so similar to the Fuji 27mm, being so small and compact. This lens feels pretty well built with metal. Both the focus ring and the aperture ring are made of metal. Having an aperture ring really makes this lens more attractive for Fuji shooters. But the aperture ring on this lens seems a bit narrow. I always find it quite difficult to adjust the aperture due to the slim design of the aperture ring. The grooves on the aperture ring are also limited to two smaller areas on the sides of the lens. Next, most third-party lenses do not have radial sealing, and it's the same case for this lens. The TTArtisan 27mm does not have radial sealing like the Fuji 27mm Mark II. I don't see any rubber gasket around the rear metal mount of the lens. Something unique about this lens is that the rear cap has a USB port for firmware updates, so it's better not to lose the rear cap, as you will need it for updating the lens firmware. Being so small, the lens accepts 39mm threaded filters, and it comes with a tiny hood that screws into a thread, but I prefer using the lens without the hood for the most compact size. The TTArtisan 27mm provides a 40mm full-frame equivalent field of view, which is similar to the Ricoh GRIIIx. Putting this lens on the SS20 or the ST5 makes it a very compact carry-all-day option. I also tried fitting it on the SE4, which I really enjoy using this combo for one-handed use. Let's take a look at these photos I shot with the TTArtisan 27mm F2.8. There are a few issues I found when looking at the photos I shot with this lens. The first issue is vignetting. This lens has heavy vignetting when shooting wide open at f2.8. The vignetting is very noticeable in day shots. To see if the vignetting gets away at smaller apertures, I tried shooting at f2.8 and f8. Aperture of f4 to f8 on this lens is really good for sharpness and contrast. f5.6 is a sweet spot if you want sharp photos with just a bit of vignetting. If you are shooting at f2.8 with this lens, you have to watch out for dark corners and maybe create moody shots to make the vignetting look less noticeable. Moving on to the next issue, the lack of close focusing. With a lens this small, it will be great for everyday snaps, like taking photos of food served in front of you. But the minimum focusing distance of this lens doesn't allow you to shoot close. Every time I will need to move back and forth to find the closest distance for the autofocus to work. The result photo is not a close-up shot I was hoping to get. However, if you are using an ST5 or SH2, you can crop the photo in post to get a closer shot, since there are more megapixels to crop in. The focusing speed of this lens is pretty good for snapshots. I mostly use single point autofocus, and the lens does perform well as long as there's enough contrast in the shot. In this shoot, I used the Fujifilm X-Mount with animal autofocus turned on. I have a good success rate of focusing on the eyes of the dogs. As long as there's not much movement, it's perfectly okay to use this lens for candid shots. But things start to get different when I shoot in low light. I noticed the autofocus speed and accuracy start to drop when shooting in low light. The autofocus in low light is not as accurate and fast as in daytime. I used the Fuji SE4 and the 27mm for this low light test. I shoot with continuous autofocus and zone focusing mode with face and eye detection turned on. I have difficulties in getting the focus right on the subject. Also, I find it's tough to shoot at f2.8 in low light. Most of the time I will need the camera to push up the ISO to avoid blurry shots. This results in the lack of detail in the photos. So here's my verdict in using this lens for photography. Don't expect great image quality from it. You are buying it for the pancake size and the affordable price tag. In my shooting experience with the TTArtisan 27mm, I'm happy to have a small lens that makes traveling easier. It's easy to bring this combo out for casual shoots. The lens is best used with SE4 or ST5 to shoot minimal. If you're looking for a third-party lens that is as compact as the Fuji 27mm F2.8 at half the price of the Fuji, the TTArtisan 27mm F2.8 is the best option. For Fuji system, there are other options for the 27mm focal length. There's the Voigtlander 27mm F2, the Viltrox 27mm F1.2, and the Fuji 27mm F2.8 Mark II. The TTArtisan has the advantage in the price tag and the pancake size. For image quality, a major issue of the TTArtisan lens is the vignetting. The vignette is very strong at f2.8, and it slowly improves as you stop down, but it never really goes away. You have to either fix the vignette in editing or embrace with it. So overall, I would recommend to get this TTArtisan 27mm lens if you want a small and affordable lens for your Fuji camera. So, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more camera gear videos. I will see you in the next episode. Thank you.